Welcome to White Paper Podcasts, where our hosts Heather and Andre discuss a wide variety of published white papers and scientific studies, making them easy to understand through an informative and entertaining format. Today, Heather and Andre discuss and break down Google's AI Adoption Framework white paper. This podcast lasts approximately 10 minutes.
Hey there. Ready to cut through all the AI noise?
You bet.
I know you're not here for just the hype, so we're going to get real today.
Yeah.
About what it actually takes to make AI work.
Right.
We are diving into Google Cloud's AI Adoption Framework.
Okay.
And honestly, I have to say, I went in a bit skeptical.
Really?
I did. I thought another tech giant's white paper, probably full of jargon.
Right. Yeah.
But it surprised me. It lays out this really practical roadmap.
Interesting.
It got me thinking.
It's surprisingly relevant, isn't it? You'd think it would be tailored for huge companies.
Yeah.
But the principles really apply to anyone serious about AI.
Totally.
Yeah.
So the framework talks about AI maturity,
Okay.
and it breaks it down into these phases: tactical, strategic, transformational.
Right.
Now, I'm all for a good analogy, but I thought we could go a bit deeper this time. Instead of just saying it's like levels of cooking skill, let's look at what defines each phase.
Yeah, great point. The white paper digs into some really specific challenges and opportunities at each level.
Okay.
For example, in the tactical phase, a lot of businesses struggle with siloed data. Imagine all the potential insights trapped in different departments, spreadsheets,
Right.
in someone's personal drive.
It's like having all the ingredients but no recipe.
Right.
You know, there's potential, but you're not quite sure how to bring it all together.
Exactly. And the white paper highlights how a centralized data warehouse becomes crucial as you move into the strategic phase.
Okay.
Think of it like having a well-organized pantry where everything is labeled and accessible. That kind of data foundation can make or break your AI efforts.
Makes sense. You can't really scale up your cooking if you're digging through a chaotic mess every time you need something.
Precisely. And that actually leads perfectly into one of the framework's 6 key themes: scale.
Okay.
It's not enough to have an AI solution that works in a limited way. You need to be thinking, how can this grow with us? How do we avoid hitting a wall later on?
So it's less about instant ramen and more about, can this recipe feed a crowd when I need it to?
Exactly.
I like it.
And each of those 6 themes, learn, lead, access, scale, secure, automate, gets broken down in a way that goes beyond just buzzwords.
Okay.
For example, secure isn't just about cybersecurity. It's about ensuring your AI solutions are built on trustworthy data and don't inadvertently create new risks.
Okay. So we've got these phases of AI maturity and these 6 themes that are like the pillars holding everything up. But what really struck me is how the white paper connects all of this back to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It emphasizes that even with the most advanced technology, your AI journey hinges on having the right people with the right skills, the right leadership,
Right.
and a culture that embraces this kind of change.
It's like having the best kitchen equipment in the world.
Right.
If nobody knows how to use it, or
Yeah.
worse, they're afraid of it, you're not going to get very far.
Right.
So we're not just talking about algorithms here.
No.
We're talking about people,
Right.
processes,
Yeah.
and that often overlooked ingredient, culture.
It's something the white paper calls a culture of experimentation. And honestly, that phrase really stuck with me.
Me too. It sounds simple.
Yeah.
But how often do we actually encourage that kind of environment,
Right.
even outside of the tech world?
It's about creating a space where it's safe to try new things with AI, even if they don't all work out perfectly at first.
Which is so important because AI isn't a set it and forget it solution. It's an ongoing process of learning and refining.
Exactly. The white paper even dives into some practical tips for building this culture. For example, one thing they emphasize is starting with small, achievable AI projects.
The quick win strategy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's like perfecting a simple recipe before you try to cater a wedding.
Exactly. Those early wins help build momentum, demonstrate value to stakeholders who might be on the fence about AI. And most importantly, they give your team the confidence to tackle bigger challenges.
And speaking of tackling challenges, let's jump back to the different phases of AI maturity. Because the white paper doesn't sugarcoat it. Each stage comes with its own set of potential pitfalls.
Right. Like, In the strategic phase, when companies are often so focused on implementing specific AI solutions
Right.
that they underestimate the importance of change management.
Oh, that's huge, Edie. I can see how that would trip people up. It's like investing in a fancy new oven, but forgetting to, actually teach anyone how to use it.
Exactly. You can have the most cutting-edge AI tools, but if your team doesn't understand how to use them,
Right.
or worse, they're resistant to change,
Right.
your entire AI strategy could fall flat.
So how do you avoid that? What does the white paper recommend?
Communication is key.
Mm.
It's crucial to bring your team along on the AI journey. Explain how it will impact their roles.
Right.
Provide training and celebrate those early wins we talked about.
It's about getting everyone excited about the possibilities.
Yeah.
Because AI shouldn't feel like a threat. It should feel like a tool that empowers people to do their best work.
I completely agree. And that sense of empowerment becomes even more critical as organizations progress to that final transformational phase.
Okay.
Because it's at that point where AI isn't just something you do.
Yeah.
It's woven into the very fabric of your organization.
So you're not just following a recipe anymore. You're inventing entirely new dishes.
Right.
Surprising people of what's possible.
Yeah.
But that requires a certain level of trust and autonomy, right?
Absolutely. In the transformational phase, organizations need to empower their teams to experiment,
Right.
to take risks, to push the boundaries of what AI can achieve.
And that brings us back to that culture of experimentation we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's like the secret sauce that ties everything together.
It really is. And it's not just about innovation for innovation's sake. The white paper stresses that a culture of experimentation is also essential for ensuring your AI solutions are actually delivering real value, meeting your specific needs,
Right.
and evolving as those needs change.
It's like constantly tweaking that recipe until it's absolutely perfect.
Exactly. And the beauty of AI is that it allows for that kind of constant iteration and improvement, but you need to create an environment where that kind of agility and continuous learning is encouraged.
So where does this leave our listener? They've heard about AI maturity phases,
Right.
key themes,
Yeah.
and even some cooking metaphors. But how can they put this knowledge into action?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think the most important takeaway from this entire framework is that AI adoption isn't a race.
Oh.
It's about making deliberate, strategic decisions that align with your specific goals and values.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And that means starting by honestly assessing where you are on your AI journey.
Okay.
Are you in the tactical phase, just dipping your toes in the water?
Right.
Or are you further along, maybe ready to scale up your efforts?
The white paper provides a really helpful set of questions to guide you through this self-assessment,
Sure.
which I think is so valuable.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing
Oh, yeah.
and feel like you need to be at a certain level.
Yeah. It's easy to fall into that trap of comparison for sure. But the reality is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to AI adoption.
Right.
What works for one organization might not work for another, and that's okay.
So once you have a clear picture of where you stand, you can start setting realistic goals
Right.
and identifying those quick wins that'll build momentum for your AI journey. And remember, this isn't a solo mission. This is where that whole lead theme comes into play, right?
Absolutely. Building a successful AI strategy requires strong leadership
Okay.
that understands not just the technology, but also the human factors at play.
It's like having a head chef who can not only cook up a storm, but can also inspire and motivate the entire kitchen staff.
I like that analogy. And that kind of leadership is essential for creating a culture that embraces AI, for navigating the inevitable challenges that arise. Right.
And for ensuring that your AI initiatives are truly aligned with your organization's overall goals.
So it sounds like the Google Cloud AI adoption framework isn't really about checking boxes or reaching some arbitrary definition of AI maturity.
Right.
It's more about asking yourself the right questions.
Precisely. It's about taking a step back and considering what AI can do for you.
Yeah.
What problems you're hoping to solve.
Okay.
And how you can approach this technology in a way that's both ambitious and responsible.
And that brings us back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of approaching AI with a sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
What did the white paper have to say about that?
It's woven throughout the entire framework, actually.
Yeah.
From data governance and privacy to algorithm bias and transparency, the white paper emphasizes that responsible AI isn't just a nice to have.
It's a non-negotiable.
And that makes sense, right? Because As AI becomes more powerful and more integrated into our lives, we need to be incredibly mindful of its potential impact.
Absolutely. And that means considering not just the technical aspects of AI,
Yeah.
but also the ethical, social,
Right.
and even philosophical implications.
It's a lot to think about, but I think the Google Cloud AI adoption framework does a really good job of breaking it down into manageable steps. It's not about having all the answers right away. It's about asking the right questions and approaching this journey with a spirit of curiosity, collaboration, and a commitment to doing things the right way.
Well said. It's about progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
And I think this framework provides a valuable roadmap for any organization, regardless of where they are on their AI journey.
So as you reflect on everything we discussed today, think about that one small step you can take to move your own AI journey forward. Maybe it's having a conversation with your team about your AI aspirations, or maybe it's identifying a small, achievable project where AI could make a difference. Whatever it is, remember that every step counts.
And remember to enjoy the journey. AI is a fascinating field with incredible potential, and we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Until next time.